Oh, sorry. I think I'm live. Everyone, give me a second while I pull up my stream. Let's see here. This is my current live stream. I'm going to lower myself. All right. Let's see what we have in the chat here. Hello, Jacob. Hello, Roxanne. I am waiting for Colton. Babe, you want to say hi to everyone? Come on, come say hello. Oh, everyone's dying. You're not going to come say hi?
I don't even know where I am.
There you are. Well, we're waiting for Colton, so in the meantime, I guess I will just talk to the chat. Yeah, in the meantime, I guess let's hear theories and thoughts while I wait for Colton. Love you. Yeah, it seemed likely that that podcaster was going to have some, if you figure 8 seasons of Dexter, I guess there were 7 different serial killers within the course. You would think that that would come forward. I'm surprised she also doesn't have like an Oliver Saxon episode, even a DDK episode. I was seeing somewhere that they were like the Showtime should have totally had this as a podcast. Mary fucking kill. That would have been kind of interesting. Just a little Easter egg, actual podcast. That's a great podcast. If someone wants to take that, someone could take that for themselves now. Because I'm sure it would have got a ton of hits once this episode aired. Hello, Jen. Welcome. We are just waiting on Colton. I had not heard from him, so it is very well possible I have to do this by myself. So we will see. So right now it's just me talking to myself. If anyone wants to text Colton, I'll read out his number on air. No, I wouldn't do that. I almost want to put up the bat signal to find out where he is. Well, if he doesn't call, let me see this here. She was just here, Jen, actually. She's going off to bed. If this wasn't so late, I definitely think I could get Marissa to do this, but let me see here. Okay. I may have to do one of these if I'm going solo tonight. And it will effectively end Colton's role on the podcast, but hey. Well, I really don't know what to say without Colton here, so I'm just going. I'm going to give Colton 8 minutes at 10:20 because it gets too late for me. I have to edit all of this afterwards, I'll just go rogue here and talk to myself and hopefully have the chat to help me. I am fighting a little bit of a bug, so I apologize for my sniffles. This show is so far exactly what I wanted from the revival. I cheered when Dexter found Harrison's knife. You know, um, I almost want to save. If I'm gonna be doing this all this by myself, I want to save it for thing. But that's a good comment that I'll get back to, Jacob. Um, Harrison's gonna finish the job with Ethan. Ooh, that's dark. I didn't even think about that. Oh man, that's So I have my own. I have some issues with the Ethan and Harrison thing, but a lot of what we talk about, I had 8 seasons where I always knew what was happening next, so I didn't have to dwell on certain things. But here we are. Nobody, we know little snippets of what's going to happen next. I actually didn't see a trailer for the next episode. I don't know if it just wasn't on my my episode, or I cut it off too early. But I definitely think we're going to get Trinity next episode. Because I think he filmed 2 scenes, or I don't know the specifics, but I know he definitely filmed scenes. It'll be interesting to see if it was in present day in 2009, or if he's going to be a ghost image like Deb is, and how Brian Moser was in season 6. Dexter has someone on his kill table. That's interesting. It would have to be. I don't think it's anyone we know right now, but well, chat. I hope you're ready to pull your weight today, because if I'm doing this by myself, yeah. Hey, correct me if I'm wrong here, and I want to see if you guys think the same. And maybe it's just old, white, tall man, but even when he was, Kurt was standing next to Dexter, it just invokes that Trinity memory, almost the same way like if another black, muscled, bald guy showed up on the show, it just reminds you of Dokes. Kind of like I just thought, I was like, damn, it's very reminiscent, I guess just in stature, not necessarily anything else. Arthur Mitchell was a goody two shoes. And Kurt, we don't know what, but I wish is. I think Jacob, you last week thought maybe it was Olsen. Are we all but confirmed that it's definitely Kurt? At the very least, he's the sniper. He's the one who opened the room and let the girl out. Whether Olsen does the embalming part, I just thought for sure it was all but confirming. That's the house he sniped from. That's the little bunker they went out of. All right. We're giving Colton 4 minutes, and then I'm going to start this by myself. Yeah, I'd be... If they switch it up, it's something that we haven't shown yet, and that we just don't know. It's weird if it is Olsen doing the embalming, because... I don't know. I mean, I'm an embalmer, and it's obviously not the prettiest job, and you think when he's that crazy rich, but maybe this is just like a fetish or whatever, their kill cycle. That's why Colton isn't here tonight, because he lost the bet. That's really funny. Oh,
Oops. There we go.
oh.
Um,
Colton is here.
huh. I am here. What's up?
Oh, I was about to start it up myself.
Oh, sorry. I didn't get the message that you had sent the stuff. It was really weird.
And we're gonna
Um,
record it on Audacity too.
okay.
I'm actually
Let me get
only
it
gonna
started
record
up.
on Audacity because I don't need I don't have any sound clips today.
Okay. Colton Zoom photo. Da. Okay. There we go. Join video. Okay.
All right, now let me do some editing here. No, that's all.
You said Audacity, right?
Yeah, please. My shirt's doing this weird thing because it's green.
What's like going in and out?
No, it's like I think it's
No.
because like it's green screen because I have the thing here. I'm gonna leave it. It makes me look alive.
Yeah, Audacity up. I'm ready. Chat. Let's see. I'm seeing what shit y'all were talking about me while I was running late. Yeah, remember said to step in.
Everyone thought.
She wishes.
Everyone.
Do you think?
She was actually here for a quick minute.
Oh damn it! Was she really?
Yeah, she was.
Damn it!
She said hi.
I'm actually really upset I missed. Tell her I said hi. Damn it! I'm actually really upset I missed her.
Everyone thought you weren't showing up because it's all but confirmed it's Kurt.
I didn't see him kill anybody. No, but seriously, I'm off the podcast. That's why I walked away. Let me get my intelligence beverage. All right, let's do this. I actually do have some notes on that. That'll be fun. I'm really upset I didn't get to see her. Damn it.
Nah, you didn't miss much. I see her every day. If you're listening, love you. We were just talking some stuff, but at the time I thought I was going to do it by myself, so I saved. So I'll just factor it into the episode.
Okay. Again, sorry about that, but
fine.
we are good. Actually, amazingly enough, I don't have a whole lot on this episode.
You know, I was thinking that too, and I think we don't, but we do. You'll see. I think there's talking points.
A lot of big things kind of happen, but it's like we'll talk about it.
I don't know why, but anytime that guy in the chat says anything, I just find him funny. Or her. Don't even know.
I just saw what they posted that day. I guess that
What
day.
that posted.
What that posted.
All right. If you're ready, I can start up on Audacity.
Oh, yep. I'm ready to go on Audacity.
Hold on, I gotta clear myself. The temperature dropped to like 75 here, and everyone's getting fucking sick. I swear to God, my whole family's sick, even my little one.
Megan, actually, I say that Meg and Grace have had this cough for like about a week. I'm amazingly enough, I'm out of it. I don't know if it's something in the air with allergies or what, but Megan, Meg was coughing so hard. I shit you not. She was coughing so hard that we're recording right now. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Whatever.
Wait,
She
no,
can
no.
kill me.
Well, go ahead.
Well, we're live on YouTube. We're live on
Yeah.
YouTube, but um, she was coughing so hard that on Thanksgiving morning, she woke up at like 7:30, just like screaming in pain, and was just like her like, and she handles pain really well, and was like just like all of a sudden this pain like in her rib and stuff like that. She thought she was coughing so hard that she thought she fractured her rib. And I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. So, anyways, she goes to the local urgent clinic and she's like, I don't want to go to the ER for this. She's like, it's not a life or death situation, but I just want to make sure like there's nothing they can do and stuff like that. So she goes to the urgent care and she was coughing so hard that she had torn one of her muscles on her rib.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So the last 3 days, like anytime she coughs, it's just like she's getting kicked in the ribs, apparently.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. I've coughed really hard that I think I've done that before, but not like what she's like apparently having to go through. So
I'd rather
yeah, I can't think.
put a campfire out with my face.
Right?
Ooh. All right. I'm ready to hit record on Audacity when you are.
I'm ready.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. I forget with
I'm live.
what's his name did. I think we're gonna. It doesn't matter. I'll get it to match up. All right. If you're ready, I'm ready.
Yep.
This is Victor, and since he's not a reporter, he's a podcaster. I'm joined by my co-host, Colton. Colton, welcome.
Freedom of the podcast press.
Freedom of the Pod Press.
Pod press.
This is episode 100 of Dexter. I don't think that means anything besides it's just literally the 100th episode.
Yeah.
H is for hero. I felt like I've gotten mixed results searching the interwebs of feelings about this episode. I personally, it is one of my. I think this was the best episode of this season thus far for me.
Okay.
Dealt more with like emotional stuff. But I generally enjoyed this episode. Your overview of this episode, this 4th installment of New Blood.
I still am putting the first episode as number 1 for this season so far for me, just because of the way everything was brought in. I think it did a really good job. This is definitely a close second.
Mm-hmm.
It is right. It's the only reason I'm not putting this above the first one is because the first was the first episode. That's the only real reason.
I think it'll be interesting to see how much better or worse the episodes get as the season goes on. Something I wanted to talk about. I'm losing my entire train of thought here. I'm thinking 40 different things at one time. You know what? Let's just get into the episode, and we could talk about. Oh, that's what I want to talk about. And maybe we can discuss this during the episode. Are you willing to throw in the towel regarding
Sorry.
What?
I just have to say something because it's gonna keep bugging me. I didn't realize the dead stuff in the background, like all the stuff that's on there, and I'm dying laughing because there's like Joni loves Dexter and Joni loves Chachi. So all I can sit there and think of is Ben Stiller. Joni loves Chachi. I'm sorry.
Is
I
that
just have
what
to get it out. I won't do it again. That's what it is. It's Josie loves Chachi. Okay, I'm done.
That's funny.
I had to get it out, or else I was gonna keep like laughing on the inside. Oh my god. Okay, am I willing to admit that Kirk is possibly the killer? Yeah, he's possibly, but we haven't seen him kill anybody yet, so no.
Well, not that he's the killer, but he is the Right. We didn't see him do it, but I mean, I'm giving you
The
an
shooter.
out. I'm giving you an out here.
I will say this. We were talking this is the first time we've talked off of the show in quite a while. Because we try to, I've noticed we're like, okay, let's not discuss it. But I sent you a message just to kind of clear myself a little bit. I sent Victor a message, what was it, 2 days ago or something like that, where I noticed I was rewatching some of the episodes, some of the parts on it, because I had mentioned about the watch and that the shooter has a watch and it looks pretty much, I'd say 100% the same thing. There is a little tiny scene that shows Kirk and he has the same watch. So do I think that the shooter that is in that is Kirk? Absolutely. I think it is. Like, now I'm going, it is on it. I still, one of the things I had messaged you about though is when they're doing the embalming, I feel like I hear like some background sounds, and it, like, again, this could be me doing, if you've seen Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where Charlie's like smoking and he's got all this stuff going everywhere, the red lines and stuff like that, kind of like in this. I still am not 100% gonna say that Olsen twins' dad is out of it, though. I still think that Mary Kate and Ashley's father is somehow involved.
Yes, I think the embalmer part we're unsure of, but at the very least, I think it is absolutely the sniper is Kurt Caldwell.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring up a comment here.
I owe you lunch.
I'm gonna bring up a comment here because it's so funny. I forget. I know his actual name. I can't go through the messages right here. But Seed of Chucky, and he actually joined us here on the chat a few times. He commented on my post from last week. Congrats to Colton, because everything that you were thankful for last week, and this is why I just started laughing as you started talking. But damn, is he awful at names, almost as bad as 9 times 7. You just called him Kirk.
Did I really just call him Kirk?
Yeah,
instead of
Kirk. I feel like
if you want to see how.
Go ahead.
If you want to see how bad I really am at names, all of the listeners of the show, just go watch Bootlegging a Boardwalk Empire podcast and find out how horrible I am with names.
I when you making Kurt into Kirk is like, yeah, it's just really funny because it's had me like, what are we into this episode now? 5 minutes and you got his name wrong. All right. This episode,
I was talking earlier and I said Megan for my wife because her name's Meg, but her real name's Margaret. If you want to know how bad I am with names, holy shit. And that's not going to be the first time that I've said that. She's not even going to be mad that I said it. That's the sad part.
Our episode picks up with Deborah and Dexter trying to figure out why Kurt is lying. Deb's, if you notice, Deb is wearing sort of here her detective uniform almost. She's not in any, she's like as she was if she was alive. I still like how twisted and demented she is, just in terms of like she cuts out all the bullshit when talking with Dex. Did you know who this other Johnny character was? Because it was a little confusing to me at first, but then I realized what it was, who that was.
The first time I did watch this episode twice. I made it. I will say this is how good this episode is so far. I watched it last night and I did not fall asleep. So, as we know, that's giving this show credit right now. When I watched it last night, I was like, "Who the fuck is Johnny? Like, what?" I didn't look it up. Like I said, I'm being very like, I don't want to look up stuff. I'm not looking up trivia, any of that. I watched it again about 2 or 3 hours ago, something like that. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, he's the leader of the native tribe, or he's the one that's kind of their spokesperson or something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah, he was in the last episode helping them. I forget what the actual tradition is, but when they went to go cremate the deer,
yes,
he's sort of there.
Which I was like, wait, why are they tying it to him? I was like, he has had such a minor.
Right.
But now I'm curious, like, is he going to be more involved here in a little bit? Like, yeah. I don't know. I remember we saw this scene in the trailers, and now actually seeing, like, what the whole thing was referenced to.
just something, and it's like it's a, you know, we always talk about the callbacks and the little Easter eggs they're doing. I feel like this is what Deb did. I think I even had a post about it or showed it in season 8. It just, Deb used to always put everything on the floor, and she always like worked on the floor. I thought it was a neat little thing there. I think this episode, there's a lot of like, we really start to see Harrison's memory start to get jogged, because, you know, he starts calling everyone his wrestling team is fuck nuggets, and, you know, that's a phrase Deb used, and, you know, this little scene about them talking about, and like Deb is sort of like a proud aunt in the background. What was the other thing? I meant to look it up. I didn't have time. Where Dexter says, I'd rather put out a campfire with my face.
Campfire with my face.
I forget what episode it was. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I didn't remember her saying that, but it sounds like a Debism. So
yeah, I think it's I can't remember. I meant to look it up, and I'm sure someone in the chat will call us. But I think this is like what starts, you know, Dexter for the first time starts to quite, you know, hey Harrison, what do you remember? You know, how much of Deb do you remember? And we're gonna see.
Jog my memory. How old was Harrison at the end of season 8? Was he 5?
I think he was like 6 or 7. But they cheated because they did a time jump. There was a 6-month time jump between season 7 and season 8 in the Dexter universe. But Harrison went from like 2 years old to like 6 years old at the very least.
Okay, I for some reason in my head I thought he was 5. Okay,
he could have been. They never gave him an age, but he was walking, talking, and acting. You know, like not like a 2-year-old.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Yes.
So picking up on the last episode, Kurt comes into, I'm calling it Iron Lake Metro. I don't even know. I think it's just Iron Lake Police Department, but to keep with the Miami theme, Iron Lake Metro.
It's got like a snowmobile dock.
And Kurt, which we all know he's lying, says Matt was in New York City and FaceTimed him, just telling him he was alive, that he possibly could have been on a bender, and he was just reaching out to say hi, and that's it. If we are to believe Kurt is the one who's the sniper, do we want to agree on, and we don't have to, do we want to agree on Kurt is lying about this and he never received this FaceTime?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with like what you said and with what Deb's at the beginning of this one is. The reason he's saying this is he's wanting to get off the trail because they may potentially come across something that he's involved in somehow to go towards him. Yeah, obviously Dexter doesn't know what he is or what he's doing, so we don't know. Therefore Deb can't know, right? Because Deb's in his head. But that would be, my assumption, the reasoning why. Or it's a deep fake.
You know what? It's something, man. This is me going on a total tangent that has nothing to do with anything, but it's something I just wanted to get out of my system. Do you have on your iPhone every Sunday, it gives you an update of how much you use your phone this week?
God, yes. I hate looking at that every Sunday.
So every Sunday I look at it and I'm like, fuck, I got to do better this week. This is all going to tie into Dexter, I promise you. Every week I'm like, fuck, I have to do better at this. And every week it goes up. It goes up. And I'm so mad at myself. And I'll do stuff like I'll only use my iPad when I'm home and not use my phone, as if that's so any better. Right, yeah. I'm eating fat-free ranch dressing with my salad, right?
You're like the guy that like drinks whiskey. Well, at least I'm not an alcoholic like that beer drinker. Like
yeah. I'm on a diet, you know, menthol lights and Bud Light. So when I get bored at work or I'm on my phone too much. Forget being bored at work. I'm just on my phone too much. Like I've spoken in the past, I browse the Dexter subreddit, and I have to say, there are so many, and I'm probably one of the biggest offenders of this because I have a fucking podcast for me to talk my shit on. There are so many shitty hot takes about everything in this show. And every day I'm looking at it, and every time I'm like, I'm upping my screen time, reading this stupid fucking theory that, Kurt is actually Dexter's father and stupid shit. Just the stupidest stuff ever.
What?
No.
Oh my god! I almost want to. I want to go on Reddit. Oh my god! I told you I unfollowed it, but every once in a while I'll be like, something you may like, and it'll be Dexter, and I'll see it, and I'll be like, oh shit. And I'll scroll past it like really quick because I did see the one that popped up. It was like Logan's gonna. Isn't that the one cop Logan? No,
Yeah.
Is it Logan? Right? It was like
I'm as surprised. I'm as surprised as you are. I'm as surprised as you are that you got the name right. Yeah.
So the Larry the cop.
Yeah, now it's Larry. Yeah, there was a post that, in the post it'll just say something like, my theory confirmed, and it's like Logan's a pedophile, and it's like where would you grab this? Someone actually posted that Logan. I have to stop.
No.
I have to stop reading the subreddit because it gets me angry, and every once in a while, and you could all go look through my profile, I start fighting with people, and it's a losing battle. It's fighting people on the internet, right? I mean, we've joked about it before that it's a losing battle. Mm-hmm. So all that to say, it was definitely a deep fake that was FaceTiming Kurt, and Harrison knows what he's doing. No. In this episode, we get a little bit more into Molly Park, who is the podcaster who hosts Marry Fucking Kill. Is that supposed to be a take on Marry Fuck Kill? MFK? Yeah.
I think so. That's my guess behind it. But yeah. Shitty name for a podcast, by the way. I'm gonna just straight up be a hater on it. Shitty name for a podcast.
I have something on the true crime genre, but we'll get there. So as we see, she introduces that she has her podcast. Then Harrison is browsing her podcast in the gym by himself and comes across the Miami episode / Trinity. She goes into it, and we see, she's literally talking about Harrison. This is so fucked up. His last kill, he kills this picture perfect mother.
Mm-hmm. Okay, can I go on a tangent really quick on this one?
I mean, I just did,
because
sure.
Of all of the serial killers, for you to name your podcast title episode Miami, you went with the Trinity Killer. The Trinity Killer killed all over the United States. So why would you call the episode named Miami? Wouldn't you call it named, I don't know, the Ice Truck Killer, since he literally was only in Miami and they know of him? Or maybe, I don't fucking know, the Bay Harbor Butcher, which ended up being a cop that killed a bunch of people. Maybe name that one Miami. But no, you went with the Trinity Killer. Really? Okay. Tangent done. I lost it on that when I saw the name, not Miami, and right below it said Son of Sam, but it said Son of Sam instead of New Jersey, New York, or something like that. Really pissed me off. Sorry.
I am not willing to end that. That's the only episode she did. I'm assuming that we're gonna get more.
But they call it Trinity.
Yeah.
Or so, I don't know. My whole thing was the name of the episode was Miami. That's what you're. I know. I'm not trying to nitpick this show, and that's not a nitpick. That's more, if let's believe this is really an episode, like a real podcast that's out there, I would have that exact same argument with that podcast, and that's why I wouldn't listen to that podcast.
I didn't give it two thoughts. I think there's going to be more episodes, and I think that's how we'll get closer to the Jim Lindsay thing, but that's for later down the line. But more so, I wonder, part of the problem of doing this podcast, and where we, just as you, the listener, don't know anything else that's coming, I question the motivation that this is what instigates Harrison to want to do this, because I'm pretty sure he's known about this his entire life. Like we don't think he just learned about this, right?
No, because I actually have that in my notes. Where is it at really quick? Harrison's already carrying a straight. This is like how I write my notes. I write all my notes and questions for some reason. But was Harrison already carrying this type of razor, and therefore does he already know who Trinity is, and has he used that razor before this attack? Like that's one of my notes in this, because something like you just randomly decided to buy a straight edge razor, like just because you listen to this one episode of this podcast and not even an hour later there's a Amber Alert or whatever going on. That doesn't match. Even for this show, hypothetical, even like bad writing, that timeline's really not working at all. So I kind of think that he's used a razor before.
Well, it's a big,
And obviously, why is he using a razor? Trinity, right? So
it's a whole. We're gonna open up a whole conversation and never get to the actual episode because I don't know what the answer is. Was this
fair.
is this how it went down? Harrison saw that episode, said, "Oh my God, I need to know what it feels like." Bought a scalpel, or what do you call that? A straight edge razor blade.
A straight edge razor.
Bought it and went to Ethan. Like, is that the timeline of how it went, or was this something Harrison always did? The way I perceive it is this is the first time Harrison has done this, just the way his reaction is. But is he also like Dexter, that he could ultimately play the victim like he's done in the past, and and then it opens up that whole other question of, is Harrison the one who actually killed Hannah and he's lying about the cancer? Because if you're on the side, I feel like I'm on the side of the fence of, this is the first time he's done this, and what this show is telling us thus far is the truth. If you are believing that this is not Harrison's first time, you have a whole entire world of questions of where Harrison is. So I just feel like that right there is like its own, it's like choose your story,
and
you
I have
could
to
go into way two different paths.
Right. Well, and unfortunately for me, like I am that person, because I'm sitting there like, well, did he kill Hannah? Like that is going through my head in the watching this. Like, did he kill Hannah? Because we as far as we know of, she died from cancer. But then it's, well, he like really, he went out, got a razor, he knew how to use it this well and all of that. But then I also have to kind of come back and I'm like, okay, this is a 10 episode season. This isn't 14 episodes, 15 episodes. This is 10 episodes. I have to take into account, what can they fit in 10 episodes? Are we going to go down some crazy path? Or are we going to not go down that path? And we're in, like what you're saying, we have to believe what the show is telling us. That's where I'm having to struggle on my end on it, because in my head, I don't think this is his first kill right now. I really don't. I think it's going to come out more that there has been other kills.
Well, hold on. I just want to correct what you're saying.
Yeah.
He didn't kill him. This was his first interaction.
First attack. First attack.
So I actually sit on the other side of that. I think I think what the show told, I think there's another factor that we don't know about, but I do think it's a little strange, and I'm not as confident in thinking this, but it's a little strange. Molly Park shows up. He finds the episode. It triggers him. I'm assuming Harrison knew about his mother his whole life, and that got killed by the Trinity killer. So I'm the opposite of you. I'm believing what the show is telling me, but
okay,
it doesn't exactly all add up. So I'm with you. Like, I'm not. I was 100% confident on that's Kurt. I'm not as confident on this Harrison part. But an interesting way, in a very 2021 way, for the show to show up, make it a little bit more modern. My quick take on true crime podcasts. You are a true crime podcaster, listener, ingester?
No, yeah. Oh, yeah. I listened. Yes. Short answer, yes.
I am not. And
Nope.
I always think about this exact scenario where what about the victims' families? And here you have the exact example of
Hmm.
Molly saying how fucked up this kid is, and this kid is getting it fed into his fucking eardrums.
Hmm.
Maybe as the victim, he has
Yep.
to do better and maybe not click play on when they're talking about killing your mother. Um, but I think that's why I never vibed with the true crime podcast genre. And I know that's like me saying,
Hmm.
I like sports, I just don't like soccer. Like soccer's international.
Hmm.
Like, well, that's a bad example. How I don't know what the
Well,
example is.
I'll put it this way. I'll
True
put
crime
it this way.
podcast is huge, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. My biggest, like, you have the families of the victims in not in podcasting. I'm so sorry about that. You have victims of the families of not just serial killers but mass murders, events that have happened, spree killings, whatever you want to call different things and stuff like that. You do have those victims, and do I feel that they're being exploited whenever it comes to true crime podcasting? I do. I actually do feel that way. And then another aspect of this that a lot of people don't even go into, and I can't remember off of the top of my head who it was that had to go through this, but it was a really, like, a horrible experience. But I want to say it was, if I remember right, John Wayne Gacy. You have their kids. A lot of serial killers have families, like they have wives, they have kids, and they have to grow up knowing that their father did some extremely horrible shit out there, like what is in this one, where Ethan's family's like, we're getting death threats, we're getting all of this stuff. And you have podcast people that are out there like, oh yeah, this guy's a piece of shit, he did all of these horrible things and he had a family, how could they not know what they were doing? It's like, well, you don't fucking know what they were going through. They were manipulative, such as Trinity. He's at home and turns out he's this horrible person to his family and stuff like that. I say that as a hypocrite because I fucking consume that shit. Like, I really do. And it is a very sour taste in my mouth. It's like I said, as a hypocrite that listens to it. So
Yeah, it's just other, and if I dug further into this mindset, you know, I'm really not trying to get political here, but it's like, oh, do you believe in human rights? Yes. Do I also have an iPhone that I just talked about how much I use it, how many hours a day? Yes.
Nike, iPhone, yeah,
Yeah. So if we just go down the line,
yes.
I'll just have to be nude my entire life, and no one wants to see that, including my wife.
Hey, I'm all for it.
And what's actually funny is that guy just said in the chat, and he's crazy because he doesn't even know that he's actually listening to the podcast. He goes, I want to listen to a podcast created by an actual serial killer, and the entire podcast is just them nitpicking the killer's MO. We're serial killers. We fucking kill people every day.
Yeah, why do you think we watch the show and we're nitpicking? We're like, this is not really when you get that corroded. Oh man.
Yeah, man. This is what. Yeah, this is why we do this. It's a shame we haven't been caught yet.
Good luck, armchair detectives.
An alert goes out across Iron Lake, and that the Iron Lake High School is shut down. Something I think I've spoke about this already, but I want to bring it up again. And it's so funny how it happens. The idea, you have a 10-episode series, and you have to sell how integrated is Jim/Dexter in this community. And and we spoke about it, like, they show you how small the town is. And they're just like, this is why everyone knows everyone. Yeah, it's literally, it looks like there's like a zombie attack because it's like everyone in town. But you got to think about it's like everyone probably goes to Iron Lake Elementary School. They graduate, they go to Iron Lake High School, and then they go to Iron Lake College. Like, it just, I like how they solved the problem without having to deal with all the extra bullshit of just like, yep, this is why when the alert goes out, everyone in the store has to fucking jet because everyone's kid is at this high school. And what the alert is, that there was a scuffle between Ethan and Harrison. The way it's first told to us, is
Call
that
scuffle. Scuffle seems to be underrating what
a
happened.
scuffle,
Just-
a kerfuffle, a brouhaha, whatever, whichever one you want it to be. Ethan asks to meet
a
Harrison.
knife shindig.
A gunfight, a knife fight, whichever. Ethan asks to meet Harrison, wanted to get revenge on the bullies. Harrison said there's a better way. Ethan swipes at Harrison. Harrison does the same. Is the way we are told the story. When I was watching this last night, I was so... And I really don't want to talk about it, but I'm just speaking my feelings here. I just got Parkland, and maybe because it's 20 minutes from where I live, I got Parkland school vibes, and just like how horrific. And I just started like going down this mental hole in my head of like, yeah, my baby is never leaving the room. He's not allowed out. He's not allowed to have friends. Because imagine the first friend he makes, it's an Ethan. Like, how is he ever going to make friends again? I just went down this mental hole, and I was like, oh my God. I had to rewind the episode. I was like, this must be terrifying as a parent in high school. And God bless all you parents who have kids in high school, because oh my God. I went down this hole, and I was just like, I had to stop. I had to rewind the episode because I was getting so deep in my head. Later that day, Dexter and Harrison talk, and it's Dexter trying to connect with Harrison. And Harrison just, sort of says about how scared shit he was about what he was in. And how do you deal with that stress afterwards? And, we know as the audience, Dexter has his killing ritual, but he obviously can't share that with Harrison. So it's here where you start to see the idea that Dexter is basically out of options of connecting with Harrison. Because, you saw like how quickly Harrison shut down. He was like, oh, you have no answer for me? I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm out. I don't need to talk about this with you anymore. What a shitty feeling that must be if your child visibly doesn't want to talk to you because he knows you're not emotionally able to. You know what I'm saying? I felt that, and just in terms of like, that must be a shitty feeling for Dexter, amongst a million other shitty things he's done to Harrison.
I was gonna say, because we just came from the fact that he didn't believe Harrison for not cheating on a test. Like, yeah, so he's already in a shitty boat, and then this comes along. So
right, and then like the morning after, he's just like, he just goes on full on detective mode. Which hand was it in this and this and this and this, and he's interrogating him, which must be a shitty feeling as a child that your father straight up, we're a few, the last episode ended with Dexter saying to Harrison like, hey, I'll have your back from now on, and then like a day later he doesn't. Maybe different circumstances and whatnot, but.
Well, that's because he was stabbed towards the front. He said he would have his back, not his front. So
I never said I'd have your front. I only had your back, and your front got stabbed. I'm not held liable.
Sucks to suck, son. Now, what happened?
I loved when Deb shows up here. She's just like, Dexter is full on. There's something not right about this story. And it's the first time it actually, first time it happened, minutes later, but I just took it as what Harrison said to actually be true. And then it's when Dexter started investigating and whatnot. But Deb says to him, like, Dexter's like, he's lying. He's missing key details. And Deb, speaking for us as the fucking normal citizens, hey, when you go through a fucking crazy traumatic event, people tend to fucking forget how it went down. Not everyone's a fucking mental case like you are. And I just love, it's like, yeah, Dexter is an alien compared to how he deals with these things versus other normal people. Come to find out, if this story is true, that Dexter is sleuthing, Harrison is just like Dexter. He completely made up and knew exactly how to do the whole thing versus what he told everybody.
Which I was gonna say, which, by the way, to get to this evidence and to come to this conclusion, we have another crime scene that's not being monitored by cameras.
Hold on, I
that
want to
he's
get there.
breaking
I want to get there.
Okay, I'm sorry.
There's one thing.
Okay, I'm
One thing I
sorry.
want to get to before that, but I'm ready to jump balls deep into that. I just want to
Okay,
I just
okay.
want to mention the scene where Harrison visits Ethan's family in the hospital.
Oh, okay.
And maybe I'll bring this up at the end of the episode, but I think I could get it out of the way here. Harrison, see, it's so funny because we watch that scene and we think Harrison was a victim, but if we think what Dexter is saying is true, Harrison fucking stabbed this kid and then went to go visit him in the hospital for all the wrong he did.
See, well, okay, and that's what this only came about the second time I watched it. Is he really going there to check on him to see how he's doing, or is he going there because he's like, fuck, I really hope he dies. Like, I want to, maybe nobody's in there with him and I can kill him. Again, there's nothing to point to that, like, at all. There's nothing to point to that. That's just kind of what's going in my head. The only reason that came into my head the second watch through is because of what happens with and I don't know if you're going to get to this, so I'm sorry if I'm jumping to it. Whenever Dexter and Angela are talking, and she's like, "Oh, well, he said that this is what happened, and he's going to do, and do you want to press charges? You may want to get an attorney and stuff like that." Is this going to come back? Is this going to be an actual key story later on this season? Where Ethan is like, no, this is what happened. Like, look at where my leg was cut. This is what's going on. Is this going to be a bigger issue than we think? Or is this hey, next episode, we're not going to care about the school stabby-thon? I don't know. I'm actually kind of curious where this is going to go to.
So obviously I'm not involved with this show, but if I had to predict, because they did mention in the episode, they say, hey, we're not charging Harrison with any criminal charges.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Ethan, and Ethan said Harrison just stabbed him out of nowhere, but that doesn't make sense. And they have all of Ethan's surroundings, that he was bullied,
Mm-hmm.
he wants to shoot up the school, he has all these drawings and whatnot.
Kill list and all of that, yeah.
So I think this show is just going to let Ethan, quote unquote, go down the river, and we're just going to keep swimming along with Dexter and Harrison.
Okay.
It's not to say, you may be right. This, someone may be like, hey, none of this stuff matches. Somewhat of a nitpick I had with the episode was like, hey, how come Dexter's the only one, and we're going to talk about the scene, but how come Dexter's the only one to figure out none of this makes sense? And then I just sort of, it's that.
Yeah, where's Darian at? Like, if Darian can't read, he can read snow prints and shit like that, but he can't read this. Or Damien, is it Damien? I think it's Damien. Sorry, but he can't read that shit. Like, really, you can't bring him in for this?
I think
Okay.
But see, here's the thing. Here's where I'm trying to be less. I've been trying to be less of a nitpicker for the entire 100 run episodes of this podcast. I think, one, it's a small town, so they don't have that sort of stuff. And then two, what this show is trying to tell... go ahead.
Sorry. No. Finish your thought. I don't want to be that guy that's interrupting.
And then two, there's no reason to believe Harrison is lying. We have all this proof that Ethan... and he has all the guns in his house. So there's all the proof in the world. It's almost the perfect crime, because Ethan is so red sign, flashing red lights guilty, that Harrison's story makes so much sense that it would never occur to anyone to, hey, let's check out Harrison's story, is the way I'm thinking the show is telling us why we're not going to see this. There's a million and one holes to pick in it.
Yeah, I don't want to be the person that's doing that.
I am Dexter. Yeah. I am following the code. We're in a world where there's no security cameras. The heat thermals have blind spots, and I'm okay with all of that. I'm okay with it.
I just look at it as, and this is where I'm gonna nitpick a tiny little bit. I say that this is still better than the most average of Dexter prior to this. So forgive me for nitpicking a little bit, but you brought out a forensics expert for a dead deer, but a kid gets slashed and another kid gets stabbed in the high school in this small town, and you can't bring out a forensics expert for that. Again, like what you're saying, he has guns all over the house and stuff like that. So I'll go with it. It's
Yeah,
yeah.
and at least if I'm trying to explain more of the episode, the vibe I got from last episode was like, hey, we need the big guns here. Let's get the dogs. Let's get Damien. I don't think this is viewed as, hey, let's get the big dogs here. Like I said, we're looking at it as if like, hey, Harrison could have dark tendencies. Dexter's the one who figures it out.
Right.
Whereas everyone else is like, Ethan was going to fucking shoot up the school. Harrison's a hero. That's why everyone's looking at him like a hero.
Now, to be fair, I still think that Ethan was going to probably do that. Like, I still think that he was. Yeah, I think that there was still a possibility that he was this horrible guy that was potentially going to be doing some extremely horrible shit. So,
and you know,
it's not like yeah.
And like same thing like Roxanne saying in the chat. This is also a world where if you're running errands, you could pick up your dry cleaning, you could do grocery shopping, you could crebate down at the local incinerator. So like, I get it, you know.
I forgot I got Grandpa in the back seat. I could throw him in.
I just in between. I can't be late for my 2:30 yoga.
That's very true.
I legit watched this episode at 12 o'clock midnight. So this scene probably happened around 12:30. Legit laughed out loud by myself in my house when Dexter goes to the crime scene, opens the door, and just lifts the do not cross tape. I laugh because one, it's just fucking hilarious. Two, they're not even trying, and I appreciate that.
No,
I appreciate. You know what? Don't tell me we have to wait for the blood spatter analyst to get here to knock out the painting that Travis Marshall did of Dexter. Just fucking walk right in. Don't have it. Just give it to me like that so I could fucking just move on.
How many full-time employees does this police department have? 3? So, I mean, to give it some credit, it works. I mean, what are they going to do? Have a cop sitting in front of the school 24/7?
100%. 100%. And also, like, yeah, of course we leave the blood there. We don't clean up. This is Iron Lake. We don't clean up. We just leave the blood there. Dexter, you want to walk into a school after hours? Go ahead. And I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm okay.
We'll get the janitor on Monday. He'll come in and take care of it.
Unless he calls out sick. We don't know. Dexter, this is where I'm such a repeating machine at this point. I love Jennifer Carpenter. I think she is by far stealing this season away from what, the show's called Dexter New Blood. And
in my notes, exactly that.
And you would think Dexter, Michael C. Hall is the main attraction. Jack Alcott, who's Harrison. Any scene Deb's in, like, I'm already paying attention. When Deb shows up, my house could be on fire. I am watching what Deb does on screen because it almost makes me, I wish they would have killed her in an earlier season. So this is what we would have gotten. This version of Deb. It would have been a way different show, but just amazing. Like, again, I'm terrible. Like, I'm terrible at repeating myself, and again, she's seen stealing. It's again, I'm repeating myself. It makes me mad. She was so underutilized in the 8-season run. That if this is the Deb, if this is the Jennifer Carpenter we could have gotten. What a waste. What a waste of her fucking saying stupid curses and falling in love with the next cop who shows up and getting fucked over by every male. Let her be this fucking crazy psychotic version of Dexter's head. It makes me so happy and it makes me so mad of the 8 seasons we got of Jennifer Carpenter.
No, like, again, because season 8 I think we've all come to agree the one saving grace of season 8 was Jennifer Carpenter. So well, season 7 and season 8, like those were like she is what basically kind of saved those seasons. If it wasn't for her, fuck that, it would have been people would have stopped watching and everything. I feel like at that point, because especially when we went back and you analyze it from a podcast perspective, she wins, like without a doubt. Those seasons, she's some of the best things, especially season 8. That is some of the best that we get from her. This season, again, in my notes, my my third note in here, once again, ... Jennifer Carpenter steals every scene. I'm repeating it the same thing, but the reason I think we're repeating this is because she is doing such an amazing job. Like, and it's everything. It's everything about her scenes though too, because one of the things that I love about her scenes is they're not real. Like there's so many unrealistic things about
Great
it.
point.
Like whenever she's like when she's marking out like Kirk is going to jail and she marks like the prison lines in front of him, but then it like disappears when she marks them back. I was like, that's freaking amazing. Like they're doing these cool little random things when he stabs himself and then the blood disappears and stuff like that. We've never had that with Dexter. Like they've done like the weird things in his head where he can see stuff and things like that, but not like this. This is a whole nother thing, but it's only when it's her ghost or whatever you want to call it is in his head. And this is way better than Harry. And I say this from somebody that it was first announced that she was taking Harry's thing, or I don't even know if it was officially announced, but when it was talked about, everybody was like, I'm pretty sure she's taking Harry's spot. And we're not going to get James. It's James Rayner, right? That's who is Harry. Isn't that his name?
Go. Don't you dare get the name right. Go ahead.
Yeah. Anyways,
James
with
Remar.
Harry. Remar. Okay. So James, when Harry's great, like, and I was one of the people in. I was like, man, but how can you really have Dexter without him? Now I feel like an asshole because I'm like, no, she's better. Like, dude, fuck Ghost Harry. I don't care about him anymore. This is what we should have had from the beginning. We should have had her alive season 1. She gets killed off, and then this is his ghost for the next 7 seasons. Amazing. It would have been fantastic at that point.
I wonder if you go back and you really add some levity to the entire show, and you know, a lot of people think the height of Dexter was season 4. Imagine Trinity killed her in season 4, and that season 5 where we thought we were going to get this crazy Dexter enters this Deb. I can't help but think they are all kicking themselves for not doing this earlier.
I'm sure they are.
To your point, when you said like none of her scenes are real, someone said it in the chat last week, and I can't not help see it now. My background when they're recreating that season 1, end of season 1, where it's like, what do you want, Dexter? You want everyone to fucking think you're a hero, and we get this quick little, it's like what, 5 seconds maybe, and they're all cheering Dexter the same way we saw at the end of season 1. Very 6 feet under. Like whoever that was, thank you for saying that, because I would have never been able to connect the two, even though in the back of my mind it always would have been connected. But yeah, it's so every scene, like you legit have no idea where the scene's gonna go, because this happened this week. Remember last week she was putting fucking body parts in the fucking
the wood chipper. Very Fargo of her. or whatever he says.
The one episode where she's making fun of him, she's laughing at him like psychotic. Like, yeah, it's just for how much shit we have talked about and we have ragged on this show, I think it also deserves equal credit for how well they reinvigorated not only this character but this role, right? Every season you have your Dexter, you have your love interest, you have your villain, you have the Deb. You know, I want to say the Deb role, she played the same role, but and then you have like the second guest star who's going to factor into it somehow. How they had the same role, the Harry role, and inserted Deb and fucking just flipped it on its head to make it for the most enjoyable part. Kudos to them for, like, you know, for we could talk about crime scene, shit doesn't add up and whatever. totally for everything. I'm gonna knock it. I'm gonna praise them for Deb stuff here because it's just
Yeah.
absolutely great. And then we see little by little that Harrison's story does not add up. Even here when they're stabbing each other and Dexter fucking slices her, it's all great shit. But even here, Deb's like, well, why would he do that? Why would he lie? And Dexter's explanation of everything is so he could feel what it's like. I want to follow up on the chat real quick, and apologies if you're listening on the podcast, but we're talking a lot, and then we have a lot of people in the chat, so it's I want to try and do a balance of both. Right here, Lonesome Ghost. I did enjoy seeing a different side of her this episode. However, we finally got to see some emotion from her during the stabbing scene instead of constantly yelling at Dexter. Yeah, that's actually a good point. We got something besides psychotic this episode or threatening Dexter. We saw some actual emotion. Wow, people are already saying hot that. I almost called that guy hot guy. Hot guys that take. I'll just say if they stick the ending, it's my second favorite season of Dexter. I have to wait until like when I watch these episodes, as soon as we stop recording, I always have something else I meant to say that I always fucking forget. Credit to Jacob. That is the one who said the 6 feet under thing. Yes, the ghost step is unpredictable. Yeah, I'm with Jen. This season, Deb's definitely the MVP. All right. Sorry for the podcast listeners. I'm just trying to balance both. And where am I? We talked about that already. Later on, Angela. Dexter and Harrison get a visit from Kurt Caldwell in the morning, bringing Harrison a gift for being a hero. I think, and again, I forget if I read this or this was said in the chat, but Harrison being able to work a drone, someone said like, oh, that's going to come back in some way. And here we see Kurt buying him a drone.
I had that in my notes. I was like, this is the second time a drone has been brought in, and both times involve Harrison.
You know what?
So
I'm so glad you said that.
What's the reason?
Did you find it odd at all? Because Marissa did. She pointed it out to me, and so did I. Noticed it too. I just didn't realize I realized it. For some reason, this is the first episode, and they say it twice. Angela and Dexter say "I love you" to each other.
Ah, I didn't notice that. No,
they say "I love you," and it sort of sticks out because it's the way the conversation ends. I have no thoughts or anything about it. It's just something that it reminded me. It's something. That's one of those things I would have thought in my head after we finished recording, but just wanted to bring it up.
No, I didn't notice that.
Kurt and Dex talk about how different Harrison and Matt are, how similar yet so different they are.
Really good conversation, by the way. Like, this scene, other than with Deb, this scene between them two is really good. There's not a lot. Like, obviously, it's just dialogue. That's literally it. But it's really well done.
I wonder if Dexter is paranoid or if he's correct in that, because during the scene, Dexter brings up some information that he was not supposed to know, and it sort of sets off. Same thing happened in the flashbacks of the season 7 finale with Dokes. Dexter says something. He repeats some line. Don't jump over the fence if you don't want to see what's there. And that was something that was only written in this guy he's killed book. And Dokes right there is where he snaps on Dexter. He's like, there's no reason why you should know that. You were fucking on this case. Somewhat similar thing here where like Dexter says, oh, Matt was driving the boat. And Kurt really quickly snaps and is like, no, he wasn't. Where did you hear that from? And makes him really suspicious. Dexter is able to somewhat throw him off the scent, right? Because he says like, hey, he was a teenager. Like, no, he wasn't. Yeah, I know. I was playing dumb. But afterwards, Dexter says in his inner monologue, he was coming out here to fish, and I fucking totally took the bait. Like, now I may be on Kurt's radar. I don't know
Well, he says he was looking for a bite and I gave him a
Mm-hmm,
nibble. I
mm-hmm.
think that's what he says.
So when we watch the show Dexter, we just assume everyone is suspicious of Dexter, despite the fact absolutely no one was ever suspicious of Dexter.
Right.
Besides, as we got later on to the seasons, that's usually was the guest star is the one who is onto Dexter. But I don't know why Kurt at all would be fishing for answers from Dexter unless he knows something that we don't know yet that the show has given us.
I think
the only thing I want to add, and whatever you're going to say, please say it because I'm totally rambling here. Unless Kurt was coming to Dexter for information because he dates Angela, is the only other way.
That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I interpreted it. Is it he knows that he's dating Angela? I don't think he suspects Dexter of anything. I don't think he suspects Dexter is Dexter. I don't think that he knows anything. He doesn't even suspect Dexter knows that much about what happened to his son, but he's wanting to more or less know, like, hey, I was lying to you about this deep fake that me and my son were having, and what do you actually know about it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's more or less kind of what he was going about, because you're dating the chief of police and she has to be onto me in some way. And then that was it. Like, that's how I kind of interpreted it. But
yeah, and like everything else, we'll see. there's only so much we know and can break it down. I enjoy her character, Molly Park. I forget what her actual name is, but I think in the show it's Molly Park. I enjoy her podcast character. I found it completely ridiculous. She comes into the police station with a vodka martini bar, but like,
I was gonna say with a full bar.
I know. It's like, you know what?
Just got ice in it because she's shaking it. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
where do you keep this ice at? Hold on. Well, then again, it's like 5 degrees outside, so okay, fair enough.
Something worthy of note that they were mentioning Iris a few times in the previous episodes, and now we come to find out that was Angela's best friend who ran away. In turn, let Angela eventually become this cop who is going to be the one who listens. Molly, through her podcast, is able to find some of these missing women and wants to...
And some of which, no sightings. To be fair, like some of them they have cited some, but then there's some she's like, we there's nothing for over 3 years on these people.
Right. So there's, and she wants to quote unquote form an alliance with Angela / Iron Lake Metro to try and find some of these women. This is another thing where we can start to go down the rabbit hole and start to have theories. Because there's the whole like, hey, a somewhat, you can take this whole thing as like she's here for other reasons. Maybe she says she showed up for the Matt Caldwell thing, but she's actually here for the missing women. Maybe she's actually here because of Dexter. Maybe she knows something that's other people don't know.
I think she was dating Matt, having an affair with Kirk, and was also seeing and therefore the baby daddy of the Olsen twins' dad. But she's also somehow connected to Dexter, and I can't figure that out.
And that's why she's dating Logan. Right.
Yes. Oh. Okay. Sorry.
So I want to hold off on how she's going to be integrated. At the very least, if you inject, I'll put it this way, from a what do they call it? Chekhov's gun. If you introduce a gun in the first scene, in the first act, it has to go off in the third act. If you're going to introduce a true crime podcaster, she better fucking find out about this serial killer that the show is named after and the end.
Fair enough.
So I just hope she's not here for other whatever. That's the most I'll say about her role this season. And maybe she helps find more of these missing women. Great. The episode sort of ends, and I enjoyed it, where there's like this quote unquote, pun intended, Trinity montage. We have Kurt and his dealing with the young woman from the rest stop. Dexter searching Harrison's room for answers. And Logan speaking to the kids of Iron Lake who are going to be on the kill list. First, to tackle the Kurt part, we kind of see, we had questions like, hey, how in the hell, once that woman left the room last episode, like, hey, how did she get there? Why did she have champagne and strawberries? It's not a hotel. If we're to believe what we saw this episode is kind of how it happens, these women need money. Kurt is able to help them. I have a place for you to stay. Things go sour. Something I was wondering, and I guess she kept asking for money, this young girl at the restaurant. And I guess, was this restaurant at the truck stop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like it's called the Phillip or the fill-in station or something like that. Yeah.
And I think that's like what we see in the first episode when Harrison gets off the bus, because we see Caldwell, whatever, like fucking gas station, whatever. So I guess that's his whole thing. Part of me was like, hey, why doesn't he just buy the fucking bus pass for the girl and stop messing with her and give her money, because she clearly can't be trusted? And then it's like, well, you thought that too?
Yeah.
It's like,
I was like, wait, why is he going to do this? And then I was like, oh wait, because of course.
Right. If someone says, hey, I need money for this, well, then buy them that and watch how quickly they don't need the money anymore.
Right.
I have to buy it myself. Okay. Then we see how, and again, all of this is intercut with each other. In between the scenes, it's Kurt driving, and we see the house from the last episode, the little what do you call that? Bunker exit, escape hatch, whatever that term is.
A basement. I would call it a basement, but I mean, it's I live. You and me. Well, you're in New York, but I was like, I mean, basements to me is something completely different than up there. So, yeah.
So we kind of, and as the episode is closing, this is all a cellar. Yep, that's a good term for it.
Cellar. Okay.
Brings this girl there, and I guess we'll see what happens there. At the same time, Dexter is furiously searching Harrison's room for answers because he thinks Harrison is lying about what happened. All at the same time, it's intercut with Logan is at the police from Iron Lake Metro is talking to the kids at the school. It's all the kids who were going to be victims that were on Ethan's kill list, and then they let Harrison speak. I, for one, am so glad they let Harrison call the kids out of like, hey, you fucking idiots. The only reason why this is an issue is because you fucking bullied this kid. I can't read the chat sometimes and fucking talk because I'm just reading in the chat here, and that guy just says, seller, I don't even know her. Oh, God. It caught the corner of my eye. Oh, my God. You get 1 point this episode, that guy. That was fucking great. And just terrible timing. Oh, God. Harrison, I'm so glad they let Harrison say, hey, everyone's trying to fucking make Ethan look terrible. And I don't even want to say terrible. There's a whole fucking aura around that. But who's just as guilty in all of this as those fucking kids for bullying this kid, fucking catfishing him and all this shit. And like, what if Harrison never showed up? You're talking about a possible fucking high school massacre. More so, the point of the episode is not whether or not these kids are bullies. Harrison's speech. We all have a monster inside of us, and it's whatever side wins, is sort of what we choose to show in. We have a show now where almost everybody, well, of the three main characters, right? Dexter, Harrison, and Kurt, and maybe Angela, then we don't know about it yet. There's two sides. Kurt is mayor, unofficial mayor of the town. Also, he's
Right.
fucking killing women. Harrison may have this dark passenger, and he's also lovable young Harrison. Dexter, obviously, we don't. Dexter and Jim Lindsay. Enough said. Um,
Mhm.
Finally, after searching for everything, Dexter finds a scalpel and straight edge. Sorry, and is. What do you describe Dexter's emotion here as he finds
Crushed.
this? You take it as crushed at the end when he's smiling?
I think it's more. I think he's smiling because it's kind of like he knows that he was right, but I think he's also kind of crushed in a way. Yeah, I really do. Because I think he's been so scared this entire time about him having a dark passenger, and now he's finding out that he has a dark passenger.
What I'm learning here is, as we're watching a show live, I think we are, if we were in marriage counseling, we are very far apart on a lot of things. I took it as Dexter he could finally, to go back to a scene earlier in the episode, Dexter couldn't connect to Harrison, just cannot talk to him. At the end, when he finally sees it, not only is he right, but he can find, this is, when Marissa ever wants to ask me about subwoofers and getting speakers in her car, it's my time to shine. I'm going to fucking school your ass, and I can't wait to do this. Dexter now has something he could talk to Harrison with. He's on.
Okay.
They're finally on the same level with stuff. Like, I think it's probably one of the rare times we saw genuine happiness from Dexter, realizing everything Dexter suspected about Harrison was true, and I could finally connect with my son after failing miserable to do so. I have your back, not your front. Oh, Dad, what did you do when you're really scared? I don't know. I don't even want to talk to my dad. Finally, I have something I can connect to my son with.
Maybe I guess
It's just the way I took it.
the only reason I'm gonna I don't want to give an answer one way or the other yet actually on this one, because the only reason I'm saying that is because of the blood drops in the first episode at the very end, where it's like, what does this actually lead to? Is this gonna come back? Is this supposed to show Dexter's shoddy? Is he not shoddy and stuff like that? I don't want to give. I actually don't. I don't want to give a full answer on it. My initial what I'm 80% or whatever you want to say on it is he's smiling because he knows that he's right. That I knew it. I was right. He does have a dark passenger. I'm right, but he's also at the same time oh my fucking God, he has a dark passenger. This is not what I wanted. It's a mix of the both. That's kind of my answer to this.
So, I agree with you. While I'll also say on the same side of my mouth, Dexter. See, this was kind of true season 1 Dexter. I don't know if it's exactly as much true now, but I'm going to try and spin it to make myself sound right. Dexter is also emotionally immature.
Mm-hmm.
I always described, at least early seasons of Dexter, he's like a little kid with ice cream. Like, the first thing he thinks, yes, that's what I want. The first thing, someone next for me, oh my God, I'm guilty. That's it. Everything is over. Oh, they just wanted to call me in. I think Dexter at the surface is like, yes, finally, my son's just like me. I can coach him. More realistically, overall, a more mature person, this is a huge problem. I never wanted to pass this on to my son. But I think his first emotion that showed up was happiness,
Okay.
So I'm sort of agreeing with you. I think we're on the same page in the same book, just on different pages in the same book.
There you go. I think that's more what it is. Yeah.
When I first, it's credit to Michael C. Hall, because we're only talking about a few muscles in his face, and we could have an entire discussion about just that reaction he has. I will say Deb is somewhat crying in the background while Dexter is smiling, so there's that.
Mm-hmm.
Hate to keep saying it, but we'll see. You know, we got 6 more episodes to flesh this out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're not even halfway.
Yeah, I think, and I'm willing to bet on this, I think we get the John Lithgow scene next week. I think he finally shows up.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised it wasn't this episode.
Same. When
Yeah.
when Kurt was walking, I think before you got on, I was talking with the chat about how Kurt just reminds me of Trinity, and I think it's just, and maybe you were here for that, the same way, just because he's a big, white, lumbering, old man, the same way if there's a black, muscled, bald cop on the show, I'm going to think of Dokes.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought as he was walking away, I thought like Trinity was going to turn the corner and start talking to Dexter about parenting and all this shit.
I shit you not. I shit you not.
Shit on
when
me.
he was walking away, when he was walking away, because he has like a limp, like a little bit of a limp, right? And I was like, okay, that's something in my head. I'm like, I need to memorize that he's got this limp in case like the shooter comes back and things like that, right? I was like, he's got this limp, but in my head, I was like, watch it when he's like limping. The first time I was watching it, right, like last night, he's walking away. All of a sudden, Dexter's going to turn around and Trinity's going to be standing next to him and be like, yeah, that Arthur is a bitch, isn't it? Or something like that. Because I could see that actually happening in this show. And in my head, that's exactly what I was thinking. This is how they introduce him, is old age, an aged out serial killer. He's not on his prime. He's losing it. And this is how this happens. Because we still don't know who is his wife. Like, you know, we've already had this whole thing of, and if they go with the exact same Trinity serial killing, like this age thing, he's been able to do this his whole life and stuff like that, I'm going to be a little bit pissed off because I'm like, you've already done this. I kind of want them to go with a little bit of a different thing, but I'm trying to figure out also how they introduce Trinity because there's got to be a connection between the two at this point.
So
again,
so
no, go ahead.
If I would have paused, if we were doing this live, and I would have paused the episode as Kurt is walking away from Dexter after he gives him the drone, if you would have paused it right there, and you would have said, do you think Trinity walks onto the set next, and we have our Trinity scene, I would have said yes, 100%. I really thought it was going to be that.
Yeah.
As you were talking, I just remembered, and there are scenes in the trailer that don't show up in the show. In the trailer, there's a scene where Dexter opens the scalpel and he's looking at it. And whatever episode that was, we discussed the trailer. I said there, I wonder if that's where the Trinity scene, as he's looking at the scalpel, he sort of now something that I don't think I have figured out yet. When John Lithgow arrives, is it John Lithgow in Iron Lake as Dexter's ghost? Or are we in 2009 in Miami? And it's like a scene we didn't see.
Yeah, that I don't know yet. I'm not even going to guess on it yet. I
didn't even think about it until I was like, well, how is he going to look? Is he also going to look like a lumberjack? You know, is John Lithgow going to have a beard and whatnot?
Because we've talked about this off air. John Lithgow looks a lot different now than he did.
Well, 10 years, 12 years, yeah.
Well, I say that Deb looks identical. Holy shit! Look at her.
But she's younger.
Look at her right.
But she's young.
Yeah,
she's younger, you know.
But I feel like you have to work that into the show. You do in a way.
You're right.
That's my opinion. I say that though because El Camino. That was my biggest complaint with El Camino when you had Meth Damon and the way he looked and stuff like that. I was like, okay, like he doesn't even look the same anymore. Like, but that was a complaint on.
So,
That's a whole nother thing.
so let
to
me
talk
ask
about,
you,
so.
as someone who hates predictions and whatnot, if I made you pick right now, do you think it's 2009 Trinity, or do you think it's Trinity in Iron Lake? Yes.
Trinity and Iron Lake, and I think he's aged. I think they're gonna work it in specifically to say that he's aged. I'm willing to go that specific on it. I actually think they're gonna work him in, and he's gonna sit there and say, had I lived longer, or something along those lines.
And I'm not doing this to just be on the other side. I think it will be a scene we didn't see from 2009. I think we're gonna get. See, now I'm getting way too predictions. I'm gonna say it's a scene from 2009. If
Are we gonna do another lunch bet?
No, I don't want to bet this because I'm not confident at all. You say you're willing to say that they throw the age in it. I'm going to say,
yeah, I think so.
There's going to be, and I don't like to say this because it really makes me sound like negative. I think there's going to be some terrible CGI de-aging on John Lithgow.
Ooh,
that's my
if
prediction.
If they do that, I'm going to be really upset.
But you know what? That's me being
You say that, I could see them doing that in this show, and I really hope they don't. Ooh, I really hope they don't.
It'll be interesting. We'll see. We could have so many conversations about stuff we don't know about than stuff we do know about, because obviously there's 6 episodes and we only have 4 episodes thus far. Overall, anything else about this episode? Stuff we didn't cover that you wanted to?
No.
I think what we're finding is every week we're having different discussions. I remember we started out this episode saying, I don't have much on this episode, and I didn't either. I'm letting you know right now, this is the longest episode of this season that we've done, and probably longest episode we've done without a guest. So I'm just telling you, it's like,
you're right. I just looked at the time.
Yeah, it's just it's interesting that because I went into it same like you, like, man, I don't know if we have that much we're going to talk about, but so it's just interesting, and I think as we get further, we're going to see the same predictions from the chat. That guy said Trinity will just be his head on Deb's body.
Dude, if they do that, I'm gonna die. That'll be hilarious. He's got the hair and everything like that, but he's like got the sign, and he's like, "Go, I love Dexter." Go.
Something interesting of note. Lonesome Ghost says in the chat, episode's 9 title still hasn't been revealed. Episode 10, the finale, is Sins of the Father. Episode 9 hasn't been revealed. That's something I think somewhat worthy. Let's see. Jacob says it's we're just going to see the kill scene, but from Harrison's point of view. That guy, a flashback. Okay. I don't see what Jen is. Jen's flashback. Yeah, so everyone's saying flashback. But we'll see. Anything else? Go ahead.
I don't think it's a flashback.
That's
just mine.
I think I'd like to see Lumberjack Arthur.
I think that's my thing. It's I don't want to see a flash. I think that's more what it is.
Oh, I hear you.
I don't want to see I don't want to see a flashback Trinity. I want to see a new Trinity. Like I said, that's what I want to see. I want to see one where it's like, had I not died, I would be in Iron Lake. I would be doing this. I would be in retirement.
Ooh, good point.
Or something like that. Something like that. That's what I want to see. Now, will it be that? I'm definitely, it seems you, I'm not going to bet lunch on this shit like I was last episode, but yeah, that's just what I want, I guess.
Let me say, hold on. I got one other. This is Eric. I know he's been a few times. Harrison flashback will be a recreation of Rita's murder and the death. Yeah, say everyone's trying to go on that. Something I wanted to say that I think next week when it happens, 2 things. When it happens, I think it's one of those moments where I wish there was a camera on me just so I could see my excitement. When the episode starts and they do the new version of the intro theme, right, where it's just like 10 scenes chopped together within a matter of 2 seconds. In there, you saw the baby Dexter in the shipping container. And I was like, oh shit, we're going to get into some shit. When they bring that up, we're getting into some deep Dexter stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
I wonder if next week, in that same short little preview, if we see, like, do we know for sure Trinity's going to be there because he's going to be in one of those quick things?
Oh, do you see like his face, or do you see like his profile or something like that?
Right. I wonder.
Ooh, that's a good prediction.
Something of note. All of these episodes, when they do the previously on Dexter New Blood, they are using a specific song from season 4 of Dexter. They're using the following Trinity song. Excuse me, please. Last thing I wanted to say, and then we can end this episode. Caught this post, and something to keep note of. Every time the Dexter New Blood, Jen pointed out to me, every time the Dexter New Blood logo flashes on the screen, the word New Blood gets filled up with more and more blood every episode. So by episode 10, New Blood should be filled in blood. I'm not sure if the Dexter part is, but for sure the New Blood is. So every episode.
I'm gonna check that out.
So next week it should be halfway.
Good catch.
I didn't catch it. I didn't catch
That's
it.
an awesome catch.
Jen pointed it out to me.
You said Jen. Good catch, Jen.
Yeah. So just interesting to.
It's because she's catching that because of her Harry Potter stuff. You know, the Harry Potter logo. The thing changes like throughout every movie.
I'm opposite of Roxanne. Roxanne doesn't want to see naked Trinity. I want that ass. I want to see that whole bare ass
all day.
Yeah. I actually, I just want it to be 45 minutes of just him naked. Anything else on this episode, Colton?
No.
All right. No. We will talk to you next week for episode 5, Runaway. Thanks, everybody. All right. I'm stopping my recording. Please
do that right now.
Get that to me ASAP. Oh, man. You guys are fucking funny in the chat. Eric, what's up? I tried to read your thing quick. What happened? What were you going to say?
I was like, I have to go pee so bad.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Oh, no. That guy, you pointed that out? I'm so sorry. I apologize. I'll tell you what. If you tell me what your name is, that guy, I'll credit you properly.
All right.
Yeah, that guy. Just write your name in, and then I'll make sure you get that credit. I'm surprised we talked as much as we did. I thought we were not going to have as much, but I need to formulate some thoughts on the Trinity stuff because it'll be real interesting to see if this is where he pops up next week. Oh, that guy's mad funny. You're always making me laugh, that guy. Kirk. Yeah, I really, that guy, in all sincerity, my apologies. I told you, I said I browse too much Reddit and read too much shit. So it starts to get, I don't even know where to credit what anymore. I try to keep all my thoughts to myself. But this week I'm going to Disney, so I'm not going to be on my phone as much. So I will really not have my own. You know what? I'm gonna do. What do you call that? When you don't do something. Cold turkey. I'm gonna go cold turkey and not. All it does is stuff gets me mad. Yeah, it turns out everyone else pointed this out in the chat about the New Blood shit, and I'm just an idiot.
About the slowly filling up the thing or whatever?
Yeah, I knew about the blood before it was cool.
No, I wanted to ask a question. do we? Next episode is a halfway point. Do we start doing just because the littlest bit I have done like some like YouTube videos and stuff like that on like people's reviews of the show? Do we start making predictions just because I keep seeing it again and again? Um, Harrison kills Dexter. Kind of like remember when I was doing bootlegging and I was like, at this point, does Nucky die? And not to spoil anything with the show.
But Nucky dies.
What do you think?
So let me ask you this, and the chat can chime in here. Do we think the?
Okay, hold on. Sorry, one
No, you're fine. You're fine. Do we think the biggest question going into at the end of the season is it Dexter getting caught or does Harrison kill Dexter? I guess so. If we can figure that out and we could throw that together, that may be something worthy of a long thing.
She said she wanted to be on the podcast. Okay. You want to say hi to everybody?
Hi, Grace.
You say hi? Well.
There you go.
Want to say hi?
Oh, God, poor Meg. Hello.
Victor says hi.
I said poor
Can you
Meg.
say hi? I know, yeah.
I heard
yeah.
that cough.
Oh, go. Dexter did it. Go on. No. I don't know. Who is that? Oh. He's waving hi. Say hi. There you go. You're waving.
Oh, man, poor Meg.
Good?
It's her daddy.
Yeah, it's bad.
No.
No, you and Mom are going to go read. Do you want to go read?
No.
Oh, no, you don't want to go read?
Same.
No. I don't need no education. You got an owie because you got to go read? Mm-mm. No read.
Oh,
read.
God.
Say hi. Oh, say hi.
No.
Say hi. You see him? Gracie, you're on like over 5 people worth of followers.
Yeah, Gracie, you're worldwide right now.
Mrs. Worldwide. Oh, look at the lip. Oh. Okay, go to mama.
No, we were gonna read. I asked you and you said yes. And now you're all
Luckily, we're not recording at this point.
Oh, just in the nick of time. If you can, send me that file.
Yeah.
That guy, I think you've had way too many fucking funny comments tonight. Did you read his comment?
No, I didn't.
So
Hold on.
I was just saying, like, what's going to be the big, is your question worthy of the thing we do a prediction on and, like, kind of change our mind every episode? I think it is.
Okay.
I think we'll start out next episode with that, and where we sit on that. But then that guy says, I think Dexter will drive his car into a snowstorm and become a blood splatter analyst in Miami at the end. And he changes his name to Dexter. That's not funny. What are you reading?
What's the opposite of Florida? I guess you could be like California. Like he becomes a blood spatter analyst in California.
I guess, yeah. And Roxanne wants to know what you're reading to Grace.
We are reading. It looked like a couple of Dr. Seuss books and what's the other ones? I believe some of the Disney classics.
Did I ask you about this already? Do you read Pete the Cat?
No, not yet. We have not. I did look that up after you had mentioned it,
Oh, I mentioned
and
this to
that
you already?
definitely
Okay.
looks like some. Yeah, that definitely looks like something we would want to start reading to her. So, do what? Pete the cat. I told you about Pete the cat. You just didn't look it up then. That's not a no. That's not a phone.
That's mommy's
Hmm.
or mommy's messed up rib. Yeah.
Yeah. Just wait, man. You'll be here soon enough.
Don't I know it?
It wasn't. We never had this until it. Like everyone, like I literally find out like why they call it terrible twos. Like she turned 2, and within like 2 weeks, it was like, oh, they fight you on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, she just you didn't get to see. She just ran by here going, nah. It's like horrible, but at the same time, it's like it's kind of cute, but I don't want to congratulate it. And they say threes are the worst, so can't wait.
Mm.
Yeah, no, the prediction. I think that'd be good to put at the beginning of every episode.
Yeah.
Like, what do we think? Like coming in, if Harrison kills Dexter, because I've seen that in two. Like I said, I have watched a couple YouTube things. One of them was god awful. One of them was actually pretty good. Like it was a well done like YouTube video, and both of them on the two that I've watched on each one of them. That's something they keep getting brought up on it. Like, because one of them, they were like, no, this shows that Harrison's going to kill Dexter and that's how it should end. And the other one is like, I'm kind of open to the option, but I'm not really seeing it yet. So
Right.
I think it'd be, I don't know if that's being talked about on Reddit or not. I'm assuming it is.
I think it's
If it's on YouTube, it's got to be, right? So
if we were doing the final season, it would be does Dexter die? You know,
right.
I do think it's worthy. Yeah, I'm with it. Yeah, as soon as I get this file, I'm gonna close out because I got some editing to do.
Recording.
Kirk.
Sin. Kurt Cobain, Kirk Hammond, Kirk Lindsay.
Kirk Lindsay.
All right, I'm sending it right now. So it should be over to you. I
Got it.
just emailed it.
Harrison and Dexter kill Kurt together. Jacob really wants this tag team kill. That would be kind of crazy if they do a tag team stuff. I'm not able to wrap my mind around that at this second, only because I have to. I still have a little bit of a night ahead of me, but
Yeah, I don't know yet how I feel on that. I don't know.
that's kind of like a Dexter and Jimmy Smits and Dexter and Lumen. But this would obviously be way different. But
I
kills
don't know. I don't know.
I'm yeah. I think I'm gonna end the stream now because I got to get to editing and posting and all that shit. Everybody in the chat,
Yep.
you are all fucking awesome. Thank you. That guy,
Yes.
Kurt, Jacob, Roxanne, Kurt, Jen. We had Eric. Eric show up for a second. And there was Lonesome Ghost joined us for a little bit too. Thank you guys. You make Sunday nights that much more enjoyable.
Sunday, I'm not gonna lie. Sunday nights right now are my favorite night.
No, it's
So-
the chat had this whole thing going on about stabby fellas that I couldn't even bring up. You should read the chat because it's actually really funny.
I saw it.
Yeah, I couldn't work it into. I'm terrible at working the chat into the podcast, but I just want to let them know that I am reading them. You know, so I don't want to be like completely ignoring.
No,
them.
like legitimately, like y'all make this worth like so much more fun. Like recording alone was always fun, but
this just
having
adds like a different element. Yeah.
And I say that as somebody I wasn't full on board for having the chat at first, and I'm super happy that Victor did this.
I may have to go back into putting the chat on the stream because people who watched, I guess they could watch back. too much to think about right now. I have to end this. I need to go edit. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
We'll talk
Thank
to
you all so much.
next December 5th. Runaway.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Colton. Good night.
Thank you.